Okay, the Texans and the Rams, two teams in the Super Bowl window as far as I'm concerned, and I think you agree with me on that. 14-9 was not the final score we would have thought of. That's more like the Steelers-Jets final score that we would have expected. Not that it would have been 34-32 because the Texans have a very good defense, but 14-9, only 9 points for the Houston Texans offense against the Rams. Look, let me take a step back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because one of the reasons I picked the Rams to win that game, the Texans have had one road win during the last 2 years when they've had their resurgence. They win the games they're supposed to win. They win on the road against conference opponents. They've had one road win against an objectively good team. Do you remember who it was in 2023 where they went and won? Do you remember?
Nope.
I'm springing this on you with no notice.
It's okay. It's all right.
I had to look it up.
It's usually fun. Hold on. I'm just trying to think.
Okay.
2023 on the road. Man, I can't think of it. Who is
the Bengals?
The Bengals.
They beat the Bengals in Cincinnati.
Right. Okay.
That's it. Now, they went to Baltimore in the playoffs that year, and it was tied at halftime.
Yeah.
Second half, different story. They did not embarrass themselves in any way, shape, or form twice last year in Kansas City. Late in the year in the regular season, then they went back for the playoffs. But they don't have that signature, we went and played a team in the Super Bowl window in their building and beat them.
You're right about that.
And they're still working on doing that. Now, Matthew Stafford, there were so many questions about his health. He had 245 passing yards, 10th player to get to 60,000 plus for his career. Kyron Williams had 66 rushing yards and a touchdown. Puka Nacua, he got banged around early.
Holy
he was
cow.
out of the game. He came back. He ended up with 10 catches on 130 yards. So he's still one of the great weapons in all of the NFL. Devontae Adams had 4 catches for 51 yards in his L.A. Rams debut. But, hey, it was a hard-fought game right out of the gates, and I suspect both teams are going to be feeling it this morning.
Definitely. They're two physical, kamikaze type of teams that are built in speed, really. That's the thing that jumps out to me about that football game. Two defenses where you look at what the Texans and DeMeco Ryan and Matt Burke do and how they've organized their defense there. They are fast. They're not overly crazy creative how they call defenses. They're rooted in that Seattle scheme where they're like, this is a little bit what they do, but they're fast and physical. The Rams, Chris Shula, D coordinator there, they're the same way. Fast and physical, play a little bit different scheme altogether, but man, these are two defenses that certainly gave the opposing offenses problems. And early on in the football game, it felt, the Texans were, you felt like in control, maybe playing better. Rams couldn't do anything. I mean, they could not do anything. But the one thing that was keeping the Rams in the football game is that when the Texans did drive or had good field position, they held them to a field goal. So it's 6-0, and you're going, man, the Rams haven't done anything. And all of a sudden, as we see all the time, it's only a matter of time before Stafford and McVay kind of crack the code, and they go, wait, you're playing like this, and it's zing, zong, zoom, and it's like, holy crap, they're down the field, they're going to score a touchdown right before the half, they haven't done anything, and they score, and they go, they go up 7-6, and I know the Texans kicked a late field goal too, but that was, I thought, the big moment of the football game to me, to where at least it jump-started the Rams. They go into halftime going, all right, it's 9-7, we're starting to make plays and get Puka Nacua, and then, of course, we saw that a handful of times in the second half to where they had more offense and Houston just did not.
We talked earlier about accountability
Yeah.
with the Ravens. Where's the, is there accountability? Where's the accountability?
Right.
Here's some of what C.J. Stroud had to say after the game.
I didn't see this.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't deserve to win because we didn't do the right things. When you come out in the NFL lollygagging, all-time great word, by the way, and going through the motions, that kind of happens. I think we'll be all right. I think it's a good wake-up call. The way we practiced this week, I think we could have practiced better. I have the confidence. I love the confidence we have. There's a mindset of, did I do enough? I think it's healthy because you'll probably do more. Just for me preparing, I've got to do a better job. I've got to hold all of my guys accountable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he
that's
obviously
the key.
did not like something about the attitude to start the game and the attitude all week in practice.
And if you're going to say it publicly, you're going to say it privately.
Yeah.
And that's really the question. When things don't go the way you expected, how are the leaders on your team going to step up and say, this is not good enough? We're not going to get to where we're trying to go. Because, look, this was an opportunity for them to get idiots like me to say, hey, the Texans have a signature road win.
Right.
You need to take them seriously. They're ready. Yeah, they've won 2 playoff games at home when they were underdogs. They're ready to go on the road and win in the postseason as underdogs. That's the level they're trying to get to. And look, new offensive coordinator, dramatically different offensive line. It's going to take time. I suspect that C.J. Stroud was was anticipating a greater urgency out of the gates to try to rectify what went wrong last year.
Right. And they better get it straight because the Buccaneers are a pain in the butt on defense.
That's a good
The
Monday night
Jaguars
game
are going to
next
be a pain in the butt on defense. And the Titans are a pain in the butt on defense, as we saw yesterday. I think the big thing with Houston going forward here, still got a lot of faith in them. They need Joe Mixon back. That's one thing. The O-line
back this year.
The O-line is still a work in progress. They let up, I think, only 3 sacks yesterday, but it was more pressures than that. C.J. Stroud got out of a few jams there. And they need Christian Kirk back healthy. The one thing you looked at yesterday is going, who's going to be the other receiver that can kind of rise to the top here and help out Nico Collins? Who's that going to be, right? One of these rookies from Iowa State, is it going to be them? Somebody's got to carry that load or the burden right now until Kirk gets back. And that's gonna be a troubling thing to watch, especially with, like what we said, with no Joe Mixon too.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.